countdown. We're live.
Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Glad you're joining us today. And I'm here with my buddy Will right here, and he is over in California. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we're joined today by my friend Nick, and he is also in Tulsa, not too many miles from me. And today we're going to be introducing Nick and talking a little bit about what he's going to be teaching at this summer's conference in Grapevine, Texas. But before we jump into the actual content, let me just talk for a minute to Nick. Nick's good to see you again, my friend. I haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Yeah, you do. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute. But would you just introduce yourself real briefly and tell us what your company is and just a little bit of an encapsulation of what you do, and then we'll start talking about what you're going to teach us this summer.
Yeah, so I'm Nick Magnuson. I own a company called Glacier Rock Media, and we mainly specialize in working with course creators, coaches, consultants, people who do a lot of video to generate leads to grow their business. So that's most of my experience and my focus. I do work with some local companies now and then that are a little bit more product focused. One is a guy who has a golf apparel company. So that's been kind of a fun experiment of switching to a little bit more of a physical product type of style versus creating courses and that sort of content. But so I have a full, like, we do everything for you, from video planning to editing to post-production editing, posting, scheduling, just basically everything you would need, almost like a part-time media company, or not company, a department for your business. And then anywhere between, I can just help teach you, coach you, to doing it for you, anywhere on that spectrum, so that people in various stages of their business development, I can help in some way, shape, or form.
I love it. It's great. It's been really good to Nick and I have known each other in previous lives, and it's kind of great to get to know you again in the last few months, and really looking forward to spending some time with you at the conference and getting people a chance to meet you and to learn some skills that they didn't have before, and kind of I'm trying not to use the word next level on everything, but it jumps in everywhere.
We do it. We do it everywhere.
We do it everywhere. That's just true. So before we jump into everything else too, Will, would you show them how to find Nick? He's on Facebook primarily, and you can find his content there, and you can just connect with him more if you have any questions. You can connect with him there, Glacier Rock Media. So let's just start with this big general question, big softball question. Why video? Why would people in our community care about video? Why would we care about making better video? Talk to us about the advantages of video.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's three main reasons to do video and why it helps business. One is it just builds awareness. So I don't know about you, but I think my business would benefit from more people knowing that I exist. So if you are a business, you sell things to people, it would help you if more people knew that you existed. And video is an excellent way to do that. I have a couple stats. I'm going to read off this because I don't want to misspeak and say the wrong numbers. But on social media in particular, it's a great way to be discovered by more people. Social media posts with videos have 48% more views than posts without videos. Wow. Videos on social media generate 12 times more shares than a text or image combined, than those two categories combined. That's 1,200%, 12 times more. Video content on Pinterest drives 3 times more engagement than static pins. Instagram videos receive 2 times more engagement than Instagram photos. Facebook videos have 135% greater organic reach compared to photos. So there's just a few. There's other stats and other platforms, but video just gets way more views and attention and engagement, and it's shareable. People see these videos and like send it to their friends. So it's just a great way to build more awareness, brand awareness, so that people know that you exist. Number two, video is a great way to build trust and rapport and develop viewers into loyal followers. People connect with people. And when they see you on video, they get to know your personality, the way you do things. And it's just a great way to build that know, like, trust factor that we talk a lot about in marketing in general. I have some more stats here. 68% of consumers prefer watching videos to learn about new products versus just reading articles or infographics or ebooks. 54% of consumers want to see more video content from brands that they support. So again, you find somebody that you like what they're doing and you just want to see more stuff from them and get to know them better, learn from them.
Yeah.
72% of customers would rather learn about a product or service through video than text. And like, we just live in a video world. You know, video has taken over. Every social media platform
Yes.
is really pushing video content. And then point three, it can boost your sales. Products with videos in their listings sell 35% more. Users spend 88% more time on websites that include video content. So if you have a website, do you think you would benefit from people staying on your website longer? And I think we would
Yes.
all say, yes, of course.
Yes.
And so, like, how much time does it take to look at an image? Not much time. How much time does it take to read? Well, that could take more time, but people don't read these days. They skim. I don't know if you've ever had that happen where
Yes.
someone asks you a question and you're like, did you not read anything that I just put in there?
Exactly. All the
The
time.
answer is no, they didn't. But people will watch a video. It's much more, especially a good video. It's much more engaging and entertaining, and it just catches people's attention. Videos on landing pages can increase conversion rates by up to 86%.
Ooh.
94% of people watch explainer videos to learn more about a product, and 84% of consumers say they've been convinced to buy a product or service by watching a brand's video. And the final one here, 80% of consumers believe demonstration videos are helpful when making purchase decisions, which I think is particularly relevant for like crafts or things where you're making products, like a lot of people in your industry do. So to me, video is just a no-brainer. And I really think the bar is being set higher and higher every day with more brands, more people going to video. And if you're not, you're going to be left in the dust.
I totally agree with that. In fact, I can say it a slightly different way, is the same exact thing, is if there's two people who have the same product or similar products, but one has video and one doesn't, that may be the dividing line for you or for your customer.
Yeah.
I know for me, every single day, and I know Will sees it too, his group's way bigger than mine, but I see all the time people, whether they're getting a new laser for the first time, they've never used them before, the very first thing they post is, where do I find videos to learn about how this works? All the time. And so video, you're right, is just in our vernacular. It's just what people are looking for. And I will do a little caveat. Even if you aren't wired that way, vast majority of people are, right? Because I personally am not. I actually prefer to read. I read extremely fast and comprehension's quick. And I feel like videos, and again, hear me out here, video is really slow for me because I want to talk faster. But I recognize that that's not the case for everyone else. And so I think that Will and I talk about this all the time, is that we need to remember that we are not always our customer. So even if video is not your preference, it's the preference of the world. So I'm using myself as an example. I'm talking to me, but I'm saying if you're like me out there, if it's not your preference, it kind of doesn't matter. It's everybody else's preference.
Yeah.
And when it pertains to our audience too, I know we've talked about this, Mark, too, is when you have the opportunity to add video with, even if you're selling a product on Etsy, as we mindlessly scroll through thousands and thousands of listings,
right,
we stop when that video plays, right?
And something's moving.
It catches our attention versus, oh, another picture. So like Nick was saying, the retention is there higher for them to stop. And honestly, the first time I heard when he said having video on your landing page and your website was something new that I never even thought of. So how video can be applied in different places that maybe we didn't originally think of. So
yeah, there's a whole other world of just beyond social media posts or marketing videos where you can use video to grow your business. We can go there a little bit later if you'd like to, but yeah, I think it's exactly right. And when you can have a video, let's say with a product, that's a great example. If you just have pictures, like that's great, but throw that video in there that can show the different angles, and you can just show a new level of quality and precision that you can't capture in just a picture. So
Yeah.
there's just something about having that video that can really further sell. So to me, I'm not like only do video. I think adding video into all those things, because then, Mark, you're right. You can hit people that want to view it different ways.
Yeah.
You got readers, like you want text, but for the people who don't want it, you also want video. And there
Yes.
are some things that you just can't really describe with only words that a picture can only do, or a video can do even better because it's a moving picture. Just ways that you can showcase things that you can't really do any other way.
You know, I don't have anything within my reach that's the great example. I have this, so I'll use it. It's not really what I would normally use, but if you had a product that has, silly to say this, every product has two sides, but you know, if there's a back, it's a lot easier to show what it looks like on a video, right? And also to show the context, the size of it. Like, here's me holding this. So even if it's that simple, even if it's not really highly produced, you can still say, oh, now I understand how big that is, because he's holding it and he's turning it around.
Yep.
So that's one very simple use of video for our audience, for someone who's making crafts, is just to show the thing in context.
Yep.
To show what it looks like on other sides, to show the size of it. So just at the very rudimentary level, it doesn't have to be a Hollywood produced video. It can just be showing the thing.
Yeah. I would take it even one step further. Can you show it? Because you're not just selling the thing, you're selling what the thing represents.
Yes.
So of course, this varies on what the item is, but if it's a decorative piece that'll end up in their home, can you show it in where someone might put it, and just show it in a light? And you're right, it doesn't have to be a Hollywood produced video. For me, doing it is better than not doing it. And over time, you can improve things and get a little bit better. But can you help sell the dream, or sell like what that thing is? Help the person envision it in their home, and that gets one step closer to a purchase decision.
I love it. You know, Will, I think about you and our journey together doing these videos, both doing the lives and that kind of thing. We look back over the last couple of years of our videos, and we kind of want to hide some of them. You know, and but I will say this: we decided to start rather than not start. You know, and then we started and then kept getting better as we go, and then you know, 6 months from now we're going to be way better than we are now. But you know, if all you can do is show the item, then show the item, and then in a week, a month, a day, whatever, you can start putting it, like you said, showing it in an environment, right? And then you can keep doing better things each time. So don't not start somewhere. And it's a lot easier to steer a moving car, right?
That's one of my,
and improve.
That's one of my main messages, is that you just have to start and be okay with, in the beginning, you're gonna suck a little bit, right? And embrace the suck. And there's really no skipping this. Anytime you're doing anything new, there's that period of learning and trying to figure it out that you can really only improve by doing. You can only watch so many other videos. You can only read so many books, but you can't learn to swim unless you get in the water and start swimming. And I would say for you guys, like when you first picked up a laser, were the first things that you did with it awesome?
No.
Is there a learning curve with, like, you'll start out, you make mistakes, you messed it up, and like, oh, but you start to get a little bit better and make cooler things and a little bit better. And video is the same way. And if you keep delaying your starting line, you're going to delay your suck. This is at the time that you're going to suck, you know. And just to make more videos in a short amount of time will speed that up to where you'll start to make better content the more you do it, because you learn little tricks like, oh, I don't like where that was set up, I don't like the angle that I had it, my lighting is off, I need to fix my lighting, the audio, like all the little things. If you just get a little bit better each time you do it, over the course of a year, you will improve drastically, versus I'm going to wait till I figure it out. Well, you're just prolonging that period. So you just dive in and get started, you know. And think too, early on, not a lot of people are probably going to see all your videos.
Yeah.
So it relieves a little bit of the pressure too, like this pressure to think the next video is going to be the one, it's going to go viral and I'm going to get discovered. And like, it puts so much pressure that every video I make has to just be the absolute best video ever. I would say no. Really, it's more important to build a library of content that over time you get better, you cover more topics, and there's this stat that I found, and I don't know, I've been in this space for quite a while, like online business and things like that. And they used to say it takes maybe like 3 to 4 touch points before someone will make a purchase decision. A touch point would be a post they see, an email they got, just any kind of time they're reminded of you and what you do. That has increased to 7 to 12 touch points on average.
Oh,
and I think it's just because we're bombarded with so much stuff. We see so many things. Sometimes we just need a reminder. Oh, I forgot. And other times there's just so much noise out there, and there's so many people that, like, I don't know if they're legit, or it just takes a little bit more time for people to see you, to fall in love with you and what you do, and then eventually make that purchase decision. So just realizing it just takes a lot more touch points these days to help people make that purchase decision. So you just got to make more stuff. And the other thing with that is not everybody sees it. It used to be in the golden years of social media, when you posted, people who followed you saw what you posted.
Yeah.
And nowadays they just don't. Even if it's amazing, the algorithms and stuff just don't show it to as many people, or it might, but it shows it to other people. Just not everyone in your followers list will see everything that you post.
Nope.
So you just need to post more frequently.
One of the things you said that really stands out to me just a minute ago is, you said, I believe you said building your portfolio, or building, I don't know if you said the word portfolio, but
Like a catalog.
the catalog. Yeah. I really resonate with that, both for myself and also for other people, because if I've just discovered you and I don't really know anything about you, again, comparing two things, like comparing two people who make similar things, and this person has a whole bunch of videos and photos and that kind of thing, and this other person doesn't, even if their quality of the work is exactly the same, I put you on a higher pedestal. I think you're more legitimate, you're more trustworthy, right? Because you have that. So I'm speaking a lot to myself, is we make the mistake, and if you feel differently, please correct me, Nick. But we make the mistake of saying some version of, if it doesn't get a lot of watches or views, it's not worth it. And I don't, first of all, you have to start somewhere. But also, I only care about the right views. Like, I don't need all the views. If I got my target customer to see my video and I got a sale out of it, that's what I needed. I don't need eyeballs of people who aren't buying my stuff anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
And that only hurts you. So, I work with content creators largely, and a lot of them fall victim to that trap. Oh, I want to go viral. I got to make a video that goes viral. And I would say to them, no, you don't, because that's actually going to hurt you at this stage. Unless you make entertainment, then yeah, you need to go viral. But if you make other types of content to sell products or services or courses or whatever, you don't need more of just random people. You need more of the right people. And you don't need a million people to see your video. You only need a small number of people, of the right people. What you said is exactly right on. You need the right people to come across your content and then to buy. You don't need thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people to see your stuff.
No.
Yeah, we were talking about that pre-show, right? We were talking about just getting the right people, because there's only so much we can actually handle as well, right? When we look at how much growth, if you threw me 20 more clients in a week, I would just be overwhelmed and not be able to handle it anyway. So sometimes we're thinking we need to be everyone to be our customer, everyone to be viral. For a lot of us, we just need enough to bring us up a little bit at a time. And as you said, we got to get started to get to that point. And I was listening to Alex Hermosi, and he's like, to get really good at anything, it might take like 20 hours to really like become decent at it. The problem is it takes us 2 years to get that first hour. And we're just sitting around waiting for that perfect opportunity. Oh, everything has to be perfect. I don't have the money to get the right equipment, and I don't want to hit record until it looks perfect. But speaking of that, when we talk about starting videos, what are some of like the essential equipment that you think someone who's just starting out should be looking at as far as what they should be getting? Yeah.
What do I care about? When do I care about? What order? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question, because you're right. People do get hung up on the wrong things. And it's a source of friction. That's another part of one of my pillars of things that I talk about is friction. So remind me to come back to that later. But one source of friction, things that hold you back or stop you from getting started, is the equipment. What equipment do I need? Oh, I don't know how to use cameras. I don't know anything about lighting. I don't know anything about audio. I would say start with a phone. Start with what you have. Almost everyone has a phone. I mean, probably everybody, I think, at this point has a phone that has a camera that takes really good quality pictures and videos. Just start there. You could give me a phone and someone who doesn't know video a professional high-end video camera. Who do you think is going to make a better video?
You are.
Probably
Yep.
me, because there's so much more to video than just the gear. The gear is actually very little. For a long time, I used just like a prosumer video camera, but I made really good videos with it. So it's much more about what video to make. How do you use what you have?
Yeah.
So I would say start with what you have. Don't even worry about trying to upgrade to a different camera, because that just adds complexity to what right now does not need to be complex. We want to keep it as simple as possible. Again, avoiding friction. So start with a phone. To me, the next thing to upgrade is your audio. So we're very forgiving of video that's just okay when the audio is really good.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys remember the movie Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
From, I don't know, the 90s. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the video was shot on like a consumer grade camera, I think, right? And it was shaky. It was not good. But the audio was as you would expect. And that movie did really, really well. So I mean, that just case in point, the picture doesn't have to be amazing. If the audio was lousy, you could have the most amazing picture in the world with a high-end cinema camera. But if your audio sucks, no one's going to even listen through the video to see how amazing your video is. And even if what you're saying is amazing, if the quality of your audio is bad,
Right.
most people just check out. So upgrading audio to me is the most important thing. And it's a really easy thing to upgrade. So depending on your budget, anywhere from $15 to $20 on the low end of a wired lav mic. A lav mic's one of those little mics you can clip to your shirt. Lavalier.
I know the answer, but can I get one that connects to my phone?
Yep. So they sell some, and it depends on what your phone is. Some have that old school 3.5 millimeter jack, little 1/8 inch jack that plugs into it. A lot of newer phones only have USB-C, or if it's an Apple, it has their Lightning adapters. I think the newer ones actually now have USB-C, but
They do.
For a long time, Apple got rid of the 3.5 millimeter and you could only use the Lightning. So you had to get an adapter, but any of those mics, from wired ones you plug right in to wireless mics, they all can be used with a smartphone. So there are some that are little clip-on mics that are wireless that can go to your phone. That way you're not limited as to like how close the camera has to be.
Like,
and then
I've got one right there.
Yep. And then there's high-end ones. So there's a really broad spectrum, but if budget is a concern, you can get a wired one. I can provide links if that's helpful for people.
Yes.
Boya makes this mic that's like, I don't know, $15 to $19 or something like that, and it has a 20-foot cord, which is actually really annoying when you don't need that length because the cord is just everywhere. But if you needed length like that, that's a good option. So I can give some good options there. But upgrading your audio, just so that it doesn't sound like you're in the bathroom because it's so echoey and far away, so people can hear you. Because I really believe most of my job as a video on the editing side or creating videos is to remove distractions. Because if someone's watching your video and they're distracted either by how awesome the edit is, they're missing the point of the video, or if they're distracted by how crappy the quality is, they're missing everything you have to say. So it's so important to do what you can to remove some distractions. So have good audio. That's a great starting point. I would say after audio, you want to get some kind of lighting that's good, and please do not get a ring light. And if you have a ring light, don't feel bad. We've been sold a bill of goods. Get a ring light. No, they're horrible. They really don't light very far. They put this weird catch lights. I don't know if you can see like a reflection of light in people's eyes. That's called a catch light. The catch light makes you look like a demon. It's like this circle. It's just like, ugh, it's weird. I really don't like ring lights. I love soft boxes. So it's a box. They have different sizes, and you can get them pretty cheap, $50 to $80 for like a budget friendly soft box. And I would get 2 of them. So that gives you options to really light something well, or to put one like in front and behind. And I actually have a free training that I've created that if you want help with some of this stuff, I can link to that later to help you know where to put the lights and what to use and all that stuff. But at least having 2 lights gives you a lot of options for lighting based on what you're doing. So those are the two big
Let me
ones.
cut into that real quick on the soft boxes, because I'm vaguely aware of them. I've used them every now and again, but do they take up a lot of space? Do they have to be large? Talk to me about space for a second when it comes to
There are a few different options. So a lot of the typical ones you'll see on Amazon are 2 feet by 2 feet, a square, or some of them are a rectangle where they're not as wide, but they're taller. You want as big of one as you can fit in your space. So I know space is limited sometimes. It depends on where you're filming, but they really don't take up that much room, especially if you're not like in my case, I'm doing more like talking head, like what I would call this style of content. And in my room, my desk is pushed all the way against the wall, and I have a light. It's actually an LED light. It's not a soft box, but it's a little bit more expensive than what someone might want to purchase otherwise, at least to get started. But because I'm up against the wall, I used to have a soft box, but this one just takes up a little less space. But as long as you're not like pressed up against a wall and just have absolutely no room, soft boxes are great, and they really don't take up that much more room than other lights. But the bigger that you can get, the better, because light, I don't want to get too nerdy here, but it's the name suggests, it softens the light. So if you've got just like a bare light bulb, you'll notice light will be really harsh. The shadows, there's like a really like solid line of where the light is in the shadows. And unless you're going for that artistic flair, you typically want light that's a little softer, more spread out. If you think about being in front of a big window when it's kind of cloudy and overcast, there's just this kind of like soft wash light over you. That's really what you're after. And what these soft boxes do is it just spreads that out a little bit. And then there's this like shower curtain material on the front that softens it and spreads it out even more, just so that it's just much more flattering and more, it's more of what we're used to seeing in movies and things like that softer kind of light.
I don't know if you'll be able to do it, and I probably shouldn't put you on the spot like this, but man, if we were able to set some options up at the conference for you, that would be amazing. For you, just simply put the light in the right place and put it in the wrong place, the same exact light, right? That would be a great visual.
Yeah.
I want to, before we get too far away with them, you want to grab a couple of these questions, Will, and then Nick, don't lose your train of thought. We'll jump right back into that, but I want to make sure we grab a couple.
Let me throw this one on from a fellow Tulsan. Is it Tulsan? Is that what you guys call people from Tulsa?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see if that popped up.
Yeah, we got it.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
So
hear it.
What platform should we focus on as small business owners? Is short form content best?
That's a really good question. And it's really two questions. So the first one, what platform should you focus on? I usually recommend the one where you like to live the most is a great place to start. So for me, I just abhor TikTok. I'm not a TikToker. I don't like TikTok. I don't enjoy consuming content on there. But there are a lot of people that find success on TikTok.
Yeah.
I will not be one of those. If you told me you should go on TikTok because people are being successful there, it would be like pulling teeth. It's just another huge source of friction. I just don't like being on that app. I much prefer Facebook. So I would make content for and YouTube. So YouTube, I actually have a YouTube channel if you want to check that out. It's Glacier Rock Media. So I make content for the places I like to hang out because I know what people are used to seeing on the platform. I know how people interact. I just know what's expected on that platform, and it's easier to make content that will do better because you know that. So if you personally just like Instagram, and I would say caveat here for the type of content you're making, because sometimes I go to Instagram to be entertained. There's some really funny reels and people I follow, but I don't go there to learn about business stuff. Like the stuff that I buy it's not an Instagram thing. So knowing that if I'm going to make education or not, entertainment content, then Instagram's probably where I would go. But I go to YouTube when I'm trying to learn something or, trying to research a product or something. Like YouTube is where I go. So just use that caveat. Where would you go for that type of content? Then that's where I would suggest going.
That's great.
But Pinterest, so and here probably depends on what kind of business you're in. Are you making designs and templates for other people to buy? That might be different than if you're just making physical products that you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
So, where do the end consumers of your product, or the people that you're trying to reach, where do they mostly hang out? I think that would be my second answer, is focus on that. So I'm not really a Pinteresty kind of guy unless I'm looking for ideas for, I don't know, I'm going to reorganize my garage, or I don't know, whatever. There might be reasons I go to Pinterest, but if the person you're reaching is largely on Pinterest, it might make sense to start putting some stuff on there. And I've seen some pretty decent stats lately of people in this realm of creating things doing really well on Pinterest. They're probably not on LinkedIn. Like if your target is a business professional, like that's where they hang out.
Yeah.
So really look at, where do the people I'm trying to reach hang out? And if you're not sure, then I say just start with the platform that you personally like.
And
The
as far as
second,
the length, let me share a thought there, and I'd love your more expert opinion than mine. I would think that the length depends on what your video's for. Would you
Yep.
agree with that?
Yeah. So again, back to if you're creating designs, or you're teaching, maybe you sell a course on how to use laser machines and design things. It makes sense to do longer videos, because you're trying to teach. It's hard to teach something in a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
If you're selling physical products, it's no one's going to watch a 12-minute video of like 97 angles of your product.
No.
So making it, it matters what it is that you're trying to sell. So I would say shorter is better for product type, selling physical products, and longer if you're teaching things.
Yeah. That's great.
Also, what I love about doing longer form videos, if you're in that space, is you can actually cut shorts from that. That's largely what I do for content creators. Is
Yes.
we'll film a longer form video, and then I call it mining for gold. You can cut little shorts from that for then posting on all the other platforms.
That's really great.
Perfect. Let me pull up another question here real quick, and then. So I find myself being too critical and spending so much time editing. What is a good way to know that good enough is done?
Victor, you're hitting me right where I struggle with that same question. So I don't have a clear cut, this is the exact moment, because I struggle with that too. But there is definitely a line where you're not making it better, you're just making it different. And so I will pause to ask myself that question sometimes, because I can do some really cool stuff. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. So again, it largely depends on what is this piece for? What is this video for? Is it a landing page video? You should probably spend a little bit more time on that. Is this just a behind the scenes thing I'm just kind of throwing up to build more, the know, like, trust factor, and just kind of be top of mind? I wouldn't spend as much time on that, but just constantly pause and say, all right, is what I'm about to do making this better, or is it just different? And if the answer is, at this point, it's just different, you got to publish. So for me, that's that line. And I asked myself that same thing, is in this 10-minute video, and I just spent an hour on this 5-second bit, was that a good use of my time? Probably not, again, unless it's a landing page video, then it probably is. But so it really just depends on where's that going. And I think you get this feeling inside of like, I'm spending way too much time on this video. That's a really good indicator that it's good enough. That's
great. I've got several questions I hope we get a chance to get to. I don't know if we will, but we'll see if we can. I'm gonna, in a minute, I'll ask you about some bad habits that you see people doing. We'll get to that in just a second, because I think those are as instructive as good ones. I got a question about, for everyone out there, do they need to be on, does their face need to be on the video? And are there times when you think, no, that doesn't need to be there, or yeah, you should? Kind of what are your thought processes of that? Whether the face should be on there, whether there should be a talking head, whether it should be just the product. When you're coaching somebody, what are your thoughts there?
So a couple answers. One would be, depending on what the video is. So a product video that you're just trying to showcase a product, I don't think your face needs to be in it at all. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. I don't feel like that really adds a whole lot of value, at least in like, the image gallery. If someone's just looking through, do I want to buy this product?
Yeah.
But people connect with people. So I think it's important in some of the videos to eventually start appearing in them. Now, you don't have to start there, because I know some people they're really nervous to be on camera. And that can be a huge source of friction for someone to get started. So I don't think you have to start there. So it could start with, and there's levels. I think you could start with, there's just video and maybe there's music and text on the screen. You don't even have to say anything. So that's like the entry level. Then I would say the next level, you could do a voiceover. So maybe you film something and edit it together and just do like a simple voiceover if it's needing voice.
Yeah.
And then the next level might be, maybe you're speaking while you're making the video, but it's just your hands. Like your face doesn't have to be in there. You can just, it can be a, over the top shot or over the shoulder shot or side shot, where you're just, and again, it depends on what, are you teaching how to do something, or are you just showcasing the product? That my answer would change slightly, but over time, I think you'll start to develop more confidence, and it just gets a little bit easier to start being in the videos, to start saying some more things, to go from my hands are in the video to my face is on the screen. But I do think it's important as you get into more of the bigger videos, landing page videos, or again, depending on what you're selling, if you're teaching, like, people connect with people, and it's much better to be on the video, to have your face on the video, than it is to do a voiceover. So again, don't let that stop you. I think there can be a stair step, like baby steps of getting there. But eventually it is better to have your face in some of the videos.
Will has heard all of my stories. I'll make this one really fast. But I think Nick might have been there. I forget our timelines when we were in the same place together, so I'm not sure. But when I first got hired at the church that you and I met at, my first couple, in this case, I was speaking from a stage, but several of my speeches were not good. And I remember going to the pastor and saying, "Hey, can we make that video go away?" And his answer was, with a big smile, "Nope, just get better." And looking back, I'm so glad he said that, because I would have made everything go away. But that kind of simulated pressure made me get better. And I'm not great now, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. And so that, just like you said, is just get started, just keep making stuff. And you know what? When you get a big catalog out there, you can make the first ones go away if you want.
People probably won't find them, right? Like,
yeah,
I would say YouTube is a little different. That's one thing I love about YouTube, is that the video, the content that you make builds over time. Where social media, you'll post stuff and then eventually it just kind of gets buried in the feed, unless someone finds you and they like just go through all your stuff, which, that's cool when that happens. But typically the stuff you make that's going to suck, like it'll eventually get buried and people won't see it.
Will, you want to grab Desiree's question?
Yeah. Let me throw this up there real quick, and I'll pull it off just because it's long. What tools or editing apps do you use for taking horizontal content for, say, YouTube and turning it into video or vertical content for Instagram or Shorts?
It's a good question. There are a lot of AI tools out there, and being a video professional, I think they all are not that good. So my caveat is going to be, it really, again, depends on your source content. If you've got a podcast episode, it's getting a little better to where it can pick a good 60-second clip and make a video out of that. I do this manually for myself and for clients, where we pick the best parts to make a 60-second video. A lot of the AI seems to only find, like, where is a 60-second clip I can take, and it might start in the middle of a thought, it might end in the middle of a thought. And I think eventually it'll get to the point where we want it to be. And if you just need quantity, like, it's better than nothing. So I would say it's better than nothing. And they're like, Opus Clip is one I see a lot, and I've tried, and it's okay. Descript is another platform that it's made more for podcasts, like video podcasts, but they're adding on more tools. There's a ton of them out there. So I would say just try them. A lot of them have like free trials where you can try it and see what you like. I just feel like they leave a lot to be desired, from like, why did it pick that clip, and why didn't it start it with this part? And I feel like a lot of times it lacks context of the full conversation. So
I
when
agree.
I'm making a short and cutting it from a long form video, I make it in a way that someone doesn't need the context of the full video for that video to be valuable. And I feel like that's where AI falls short right now in the we'll make a ton of shorts for you realm. Is they'll pick a spot that without hearing the full conversation, it doesn't really make sense or doesn't add value or enough value. So I manually do that right now. And sometimes I'll use AI. So I don't want to step on the AI guys that are speaking at your conference, but being in content, like I use AI a lot.
Yeah.
And this is one way that I'll use it, where I can feed it a transcript from the video and say, can you help me identify good sections that would make for good short form? And I explain some things like, here's what I'm trying to do. This needs to be valuable without the context of the full conversation, like all that stuff. I train it.
Yeah.
And then it gives me ideas that I then take and then I make the video from that. But this might not be, so this is a source of friction that takes more work and more time. So if the thought of doing that will make you not do it, then I say use the other tools, because doing something's better than doing nothing.
You said a couple words in there that were actually parts of the title, but I wanted to kind of hone in on this for a second. Scripting. Talk to me about, should people write a script? How would they go about doing that? Should they use a teleprompter? Kind of talk about scripting in general and whether that's important and what effect that has on the final product.
I always recommend at least outlining. I don't love scripting because reading a script is actually pretty hard to read it and make it not sound like you're reading a script.
It is.
And I think some people get so nervous on camera that they just can't think, or they can't, like, their brain just goes, So if that's you and scripting will help you make the video, and not scripting will make you not make the video, then script it. And there are a couple tools out there. I got to look them up. Descript actually might have one of those where you can actually read from a teleprompter. And we're talking if you're using your phone, and it has AI that shifts your eyeballs to make it look like you're looking at the lens, which is super creepy, but that's awesome.
I've tried
right?
it. It works.
Yeah. So
I remember you did that, Mark.
Yeah, I did it. And it was so strange because I know for a fact I was looking way off the screen just on purpose. And it looked normal.
Yeah. So that definitely use that if you feel like you need to script it. And here again, I would say it depends on what you're making. So if this is a really high important video, like a landing page video, maybe you'll want to script that to make sure that you say everything that you want to say. Yeah. But I think for most videos, what I would recommend is outlining. Here are the main points I want to touch on. Here's any specifics. I definitely want to make sure I say this so I don't forget it, like put that in there. And what I do recommend is at least scripting your hook. So I don't want to give away too much because then no one's going to come to my class. But one of the most important things in your video is the hook. The first few seconds, you want really quickly for people to identify who is this for and how does it help them? Why should someone continue to watch your video?
Yeah.
And the right person. So there's a lot of different ways, different strategies or methods or types of hooks that you can make. But that's one that I like. Who is this for and how does it help them? If you're someone who's this, then this.
That's great.
I do like to script that because I really want to spend time on what is it that I exactly want to say to do the right thing. So one of the things that you had mentioned earlier is what are some things people shouldn't do?
Yes.
Or like pet peeves or things that people often, maybe bad habits they need to break. One of those is horrible intros. Wasted time. If you come on, you're like, hey guys, just popping on real quick. Like you've already lost most people. They're like, swipe.
Yeah.
So you need to come on and just say what you're going to say, like get to the point. And different types of content will allow you to get a little bit more personal and talk a little bit more about yourself. But early on, people don't know you. They don't care. They don't care. Hey, when I was whatever, like they don't want to hear the story yet. You need to get on to tell them what you're going to tell them. Over time, as you develop that rapport, there's other types of videos you can do that help build that rapport and the trust, and people want to get to know a little bit more about you. But early on, you just want to, whatever that hook is, get right into it. So I do recommend scripting that, so you make sure you do a really good hook. But after that, just outlining the video, Here are the main points I want to touch on. And then I think every video should have a call to action of some point. I think that's very important. You can script that, or at least just put like, what is the call to action, the CTA I'm going to have in this video? And it can be a soft CTA, like, hey, if you like this, share it with someone else who you think will think this is cool too. Or, hit a like, or give me a heart, or comment. Like, those are kind of soft call to actions.
Yeah.
Other little harder call to actions could be, hey, go buy this thing. Here's a link. Go buy this thing. But I think every video should have some kind of call to action, or it might be, if you're more in the educational space, it can be more something to think about, or something to work on. But I do like having some kind of call to action in every video that you make.
That's great. Any you mentioned audio is so important, because that's one of my pet peeves. Is there's a line that I can't describe, but there's a line where it's totally fine, and then there's a line where it's just terrible. And sometimes you just sound like you're talking in a bucket, and it just is awful. And those are so distracting, I can't even pay attention. And then I guess if you combine some of the bad ones, I don't know if I can even simulate it right now, but either I don't usually see people that are too close to the camera all that often, but I see them way too far. And I'll fake one because this one's not actually on, but microphone is here, right? But they're way back here, and they sound horrible. And I think just kind of and headroom kills me constantly. I can't really. Yeah, if I did one of these.
Yes. So you're hitting all my the ones I was going to share, the pet peeves, or the things that I typically work with people when I start coaching them in their content. Number one is staring at themselves instead of the lens. So that for sure is number one. Because if you think about the person on the other side of that screen, there's just one person on the other side of that screen. And if you're not looking at the lens, you're not making eye contact.
Right. And
it just feels weird. I don't know if you talk to someone in person and they won't look you in the eyes, it's really weird.
Yes.
Right. So I feel like that's really important. So when you're making videos, it's so tempting to look at yourself, especially if the phone is in selfie mode and you can see yourself. So that's one tip, is to turn it around so you can't even see yourself. Then you're forced to look at the lens. But sometimes that's just not, it can be hard to like set it up to where you're in the frame and all that. So I get it, but you really have to build that muscle. And I catch myself doing that sometimes, like, oh crap, I was looking at myself. So remind yourself, look at the lens. And with that, this isn't like number two, but just because I said it's one person on the other side of the screen, speak to that one person. So some people will come on and be like, hey guys. Well, unless they're hanging out with a bunch of friends watching it at the same time, it's just one person who's watching that video. So it just feels a little bit more personal when you speak to that one person. So, hey friend, it's one person. So bonus tip. Number two is the audio. Like that's a major thing too, which I probably would say, if your audio sucks, that actually is number one. Fix your audio first. Even if you have a fancy mic or a shotgun mic, a lot of people will put it on top of their camera. That they're not designed to be that way. A shotgun mic, any mic is really meant to be close. And when it's that far away, I mean, there's some AI tools that are getting better at like cleaning it up. And I'm a specialist in audio, so I have some clients that aren't that great with audio, and I can make them sound pretty good. But there is a limit. There's a certain point where like I just can't make it not sound like you're in the bathroom.
Yeah,
it's so echoey. So get that mic as close as possible. And nobody cares, right? Some clients would say, I don't want them to see the mic. Why? They don't care. You're making a video. They know they need to hear you. Like nobody cares. So get the mic close. The other pet peeve, you touched on it, is the headspace, the headroom. So like when I'm down here, it makes me look really small, right? Like
and by the way, I have to note, I love you weren't even thinking about it. You moved your microphone so it was where I saw you do it instead of just leaving it up. Yeah, right. That was great. I love it.
Well, like being down here, I look really small, and not in a good way. Like, like women are like, I want to look small and skinny. Well, this doesn't help in that way. It just makes you look like inconsequential and like lacking confidence, lacking authority. And from just a purely technical point of view, when you if you're going to cut short form content, if I'm going to like use this to zoom in to make a vertical video, I have to zoom in so much to fill me up and to not have the words like over my face, that your whole face will be the screen. It's like way too close, right? So I try to teach people that there should be just a little bit of space above your head.
Yeah.
And then usually that fixes itself. Now, sometimes people are way too close to the camera. And I heard someone say this, I can't remember the distance, but there's a certain distance on camera that makes it feel like an in-person interaction where someone is in your bubble. Have you ever had that person talking to you
Yeah.
that just is like, you'll take a step back and they keep stepping up? You're like, you
Yes.
don't understand that we shouldn't be this close when we're talking.
Yeah.
And
We're-
sometimes being too close in your video can give that kind of feeling. Now, no one on the other side is going to be like, this person is way too close, they're in my bubble, but it can just give this weird sense of this feels uncomfortable.
Where should the camera line be from your eyes?
So usually you want level or just below. You don't want above. So there's a certain in like film school they teach when you have a camera up above, it makes someone look really what's the word I'm looking for? Like kind of what I was describing when I was short. Like it makes them look inferior or
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? There's a word that's just escaping me, but you want to portray an image of confidence and whatnot. And usually you want the camera to be a little bit lower or at max at eye level.
Okay. Very good. Will, what do you got, man? We're man, this went fast. We only got a couple
let me
more
throw
minutes.
up this question. Let me throw up this question from Victor really quick because I know he's been asking some really great questions here. Is I use Premiere Pro for video and I just use the presets for export. Is that the best way or should I change some settings? And that might be a little technical, but
yeah, this
I'd
one
like
gets
to
a
know
little.
that.
I use Premiere Pro, so woohoo! It's a good one. I think using a preset is fine. A lot of those settings don't really make that big of a difference. Some of them do. Like bit rate is one of the important ones, and if you've got a really low bit rate, it can end up making it look kind of choppy and whatnot. But there are some things that I feel like are overkill, and all they do is just make it take a lot longer to render, but they don't really add that much. Like there might be some unicorns out there that could say like, oh, I could tell you used 10 megabits per second instead of 24. I'm like, I don't know. If you do 8 or 16, I'm not sure I could tell the difference. And for the kind of content we would make, a lot of those settings don't really matter, don't make a big difference. So
And
I would
does it
say
also, that's almost over my head too, but does it matter what the person's consuming the content on as to whether they can tell?
probably, a lot of video and some of this is going to be way too technical than we need to get, but with like
Yeah.
codecs and way that the videos are compressed and stored and stuff. I mean, honestly, some of that's over my head too, but a lot of it uses a certain codec that it doesn't really matter. Like it's the same codec they'll use on phones or on different things. So
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters a whole lot. I usually use like H264 and just some general settings. I usually do like a one pass. I don't do multi-pass and all these crazy settings that do probably end up making it slightly better quality, but I've done some comparisons and I honestly couldn't tell the difference.
Man, all of a sudden we look better without Nick here. I'm Nick without Will here. This is great. That is so good. So as we're kind of wrapping up today, first of all, I just want to emphasize to everybody, if you have any questions and you're watching this later, because I know a lot of you can't watch, you're at work, you're doing different things, feel free to still keep commenting. I'll get notified if there's something that I can't answer. I'll message Nick. We'll get the answers for you. But Nick's going to be teaching this summer at our conference in Grapevine, Texas. All the information has been scrolling this whole time, so you can grab it down there. I don't want to spend a lot of time selling that specifically, but he's going to be teaching a 90-minute class on how to build your business using video. It's going to be fantastic. And as you can tell, he's easy to listen to, easy to understand. So he's going to take something that may be initially intimidating to some of you and make it a lot more digestible, I promise. And also I'm going to go ahead and set this out there. I'm going to be starting a podcast here in the next handful of weeks, and I'm going to call on Nick and have him teach me how to get better, because I've got a lot of opportunities to get better. So I'm going to do that, and you guys will get to watch my journey. I promise you that if it doesn't end in the right place, it's not the teacher, it's the student. But seriously though, I'm going to learn a lot from him in the next handful of months, and you guys will get to see what I'm learning as well. So it's going to be really great. Victor. By the way, Victor is one of our teachers at the conference,
Okay.
and he says, "Please don't schedule my class during his. I need to go to his." So we'll make sure that you make it so you guys can never talk, Victor. That's exactly what we'll do. Just kidding. That'd be great.
Yeah. So
Any?
I do plan on covering. There's a lot that goes into video. So obviously, everyone wants to talk tech and gear and cameras and lights, and
Sure.
we will talk about that. But I think what's more important is to learn how to use what you have and just how to make good videos. What goes into a good video, like the stuff that you say. How do you build a good hook? How do you outline a video? Like all the stuff that goes into it. It's basically going to be like a master class. And here's how to do video. And I do want to make it interactive. So if one chunk of that is going to be, what videos should I make? How do I come up with ideas? How do I manage all of that? So that's going to be a chunk of it. And we can even just live in the class work on some of your thoughts. So looking forward to meeting some of you guys and helping you in your videos.
It'll be fantastic. Well, guys, keep throughout the day, keep your questions coming, and we will funnel them to Nick as we're able. Yeah, Annette says, I'll put it on the screen. She says, that's going to be an issue. I want to go to all the classes. That is totally real. And so all I can say, Annette and everybody else, is we will be recording all the classes. So if you're a ticket holder and you're not able to go to all the classes, you'll be able to watch them later. Or I know for me, even the ones that I go to, I either didn't take good notes or I forgot something. So that'd be good to reference it later. You will not be able to attend all of them. I'll tell you that for sure. So just pick the ones you want to. Every class is going to be taught more than once. So you get a chance to do your best to make that schedule happen. But it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nick, is there any last things you want to add or anything you want to touch on? We got like 2 minutes. If you want to talk about anything else, any other thing that's on your mind?
I think just the last thing, the editing came up. Editing can be very time consuming and a major source of friction. So in the beginning, I would say just don't worry about it. Don't try to make it crazy and like super high end. Just get it done. And one of the most important things for me for editing is making sure the video starts right away. So cut, even at minimum, just cut out the dead space, the time it took you to like poke the button and then get into space and then start talking. Cut that out. And another thing that helps people be a little bit more comfortable on camera is knowing that you don't have to say everything perfectly. You don't have to get it in one take. That's what editing is for. If you would see my videos, see the raw video and then what it comes out as, you would be astonished at like how often I screw up. But you don't see any of that, right? So it relieves a little bit of the pressure of feeling like I got to nail it and get it perfect. No, that's what editing is for. If you screw up a word, start that sentence over again. And then there's I'll just cut that out when I go edit. Because for me, I'm faster at making the video if I don't feel that pressure of having to get a perfect take. I'm faster if I just know I can do it again and I'll just cut it out when I edit. I'm faster that way. But there are others who would say, I'm so slow in editing. I'd rather just get it right when I say it. I'm like, okay, well, then it might take you an hour to do that video when it could have taken you 15 minutes. So just try to find that line. It doesn't have to be amazing and perfect. You can fix stuff in editing that relieves some of that pressure, and just get it good enough, and you'll keep getting better every time you do it.
Give me a quick tip when you're talking through, I say a script loosely. I mean, when you're talking through whatever you're going to say, and you trip up completely, do you give yourself like a one beat and then start again so that the editing's easier? How do you have any tips on how to make the editing easier when you do screw up?
Yeah, that can help, or even do like a clap and you'll see like an audio spike. Sometimes I edit visually. You can see breaks in the audio form to know like, oh, there's a gap I need to cut. So you can do something like that, or just wave at yourself like, oh crap. I'll even make notes to myself. Oh, I didn't like what I just did here. I'm going to try that again. Because if you go to edit this minutes later, or not minutes later, days later, you might even forget, right? So sometimes adding notes like that can be helpful.
I'm trying to remember to keep all of my footage, because I know that I have an audience that enjoys seeing the process sometimes, and I've got 1 or 2 reels of bloopers, and I do a lot of screw ups, and I generally don't say anything off color. Every now and again I do, and it's funny when I do it, but I'll do a lot of I'll do that for myself just to know I can find it again real quick.
Yep.
But you can tell what kind of day I'm having when there's a lot of, over and over again. And my brain is so noisy most of the time that I'll sit for a second, think about what I'm going to say, and then I'll start the camera, and my brain will just dump everything.
Mhm.
I'll say, "Hey, everybody," because I've already forgotten what the word I'm saying. So it's a process, and try not to make yourself make it perfect, like Nick's been saying. Done is better than perfect most of the time.
Yep.
And let your personality be there. Don't edit your personality out.
Yeah. It's
So-
that whole people connect with people, and when you can just be yourself, be authentic, people the right people will connect with that.
I agree. Man, this has been so good, Nick. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I don't know where Nick. Oh, good Lord, see, I don't know where Will went. I'll edit that out. But I hope he's doing well. So thank you again for hanging out with me. You and I will stay on for just a minute, and we'll wrap up a few things with you. Everybody else, thank you for hanging out with us. If you have any questions about the conference, we would love to answer them for you. If you have any questions for Nick, drop them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. If you haven't got your tickets, nextlevellaserevents.com, grab those, and we will see you guys this summer. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys in the groups. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.